children, none of whom went to college, but in turn, my father and my uncles, my aunts, they made it possible for us to go to college. So even though this road was bumpy, my grandfather saw his children and his grandchildren go on to achieve more than he had and ultimately fulfill his American dream. You know, and it's funny because who could have imagined that the granddaughter of a milkman would one day be representing the United States of America as Consul General in the Princess? And my grandfather, I think, would have been very proud to see me here tonight, just as your parents are proud to see you, and will be even prouder as you continue along in your lives. So, dreams can have a huge impact. They can be big. They can inspire invention, and they can inspire invention and things like discoveries. People like Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, and the Wright brothers. They brought us machines which at the time nobody thought could ever happen. These were beyond imagination. This was light with the flick of a switch. It was the ability to speak to someone across great distances. And it was a chance to soar through the sky like a bird. Each of these dreamers faced huge challenges. It's amazing. Alexander Graham Bell discovered the telephone, but was partially deaf because of a childhood accident. And Orville and Wilbur Wright, who designed the first airplanes, they were really bicycle designers. And you know, what did they know about how to make something fly? And they had multiple setbacks, but they kept trying. And that's, I think, the real key, is to never give up. And Edison was very famous for saying that many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close to success they were when they gave up. Their attitude, and this kind of attitude, in turn inspires many others, including modern-day innovators and Apple founder, the late Steve Jobs. And by the way, he, just like Edison, was not always very successful himself. For a long time, people discounted the company Apple, and how wrong those critics were. Because nowadays, iPods and iTunes, they revolutionized the way we consume music, and iPhones and apps have become part of our vocabulary. And so though Steve Jobs failed many times before he succeeded, he also learned from his failures, and he bounced back with greater determination to achieve his dreams. And I think it was, as your first speaker talked about, making mistakes and going on. And that's the thing, don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's part of living. And these innovators have taken us from bikes to the moon. There is a 19th century author called Jules Verne who wrote science fiction. Who could have imagined that what he wrote about as science fiction would be turned into reality by dreamers and believers like Neil Armstrong, who put his foot on the face of the moon and said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." This culmination of many people's dreams and perseverance, this giant leap, was a combination of many small dreams. Dreams don't just have to be about going to the moon. They can be about helping your neighbors on Earth. And I think in Pakistan, Abdul Sattar Eddy uses his foundation to selflessly give of his time and energy to serve Pakistanis.